Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate. God bless you. Last week we discussed on things I wish I had done during my teen age. Yes, and our guest shared things she wished she had done during her teen age, and she told us that she wished she was consistent with her education. She wished she's someone that is diligent, and she wished she had consulted some people, and also she wished she had listened to the mentors when they are actually correcting her. Well, today I have a special guest, but before then I have some question and answer from last week Tuesday, and I have it here. The question goes thus. The first question I have is that as a teenager, as a teen girl or a teen boy, when my father sent me an errand and I know it's not an errand that I should go, like probably he sent me to go and buy alcohol, or he sent me to go and buy or should go and give letter to the girlfriend, which I know my mother was there, should I answer? Like, should I go? So to you that sent the message, the first thing is, God did not tell us to disobey our parents. The Bible said in Ephesians chapter 6 verse 1, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. You did not have any right to disobey your parents. If this thing, you know yourself, you know your stand, you know it is not good, so don't join him to do it. But when he send you, you don't have anybody. Oh, will you come and collect your school fees from me? No. So keep calm. Don't fight him. Don't say, Daddy, you are sending me this. You can actually report to your mother. She will have the right. She will have the right way to talk to your father in that way. Don't do a kind of. Don't be angry with him. Don't fight him. Don't do anything to him. Well, I will answer the person privately too, but to those that actually are in the shoe, that is why I'm sharing this online. Well, today I'm having a special guest in the house. Yes, and we have concluded our series on things I wish I had known during my teen age. So today we'll be talking on failure, a setback, or a blessing. Now let me ask you, is failure a setback or a blessing? Quickly, as you know, my name is Princess Adebola Paulina, your teenager's doctor, and with me here is a wonderful lady, a teenager's coach. And that, I know you will love her. I know you actually want to hear from her today. Well, she will be sharing from her cup of wisdom and her plate of knowledge. Just take your pen and your book and listen to her, because she will be dishing us knowledge. Tell your neighbor, knowledge. Okay, ma'am, I did not know your name.
Okay.
I didn't know your name at all. So please tell our viewers at home your name.
Alright, good day everyone. My name is Temidayo Awowoyin. Just my name, right?
Yes.
Alright.
Her name is what? Temidayo. Ma? Awowoyin. Temidayo Awowoyin. Thank you for honoring our invitation.
It's a pleasure,
I really appreciate that. Okay, today we'll be talking on things failure, a setback, or a blessing. But before we go, ma, what is your passion? What do you like to do, like as a teenager's coach? Like, I read your profile, or maybe I should read your profile to the whole world.
Oh, let's keep it. Let's keep the profile at that. Okay, alright. Well, what I love doing, my passion, basically I feel it has come to understanding that the generations before us, they have missed it. And the way we are going, our generation is missing it already. I would not like to say we have missed it too, because we can still make amends. But the good news is generations that are coming after us, they have better opportunities. So I would say what I love to do to teenagers or with teenagers is impacting them, teaching them, making sure that the mistakes we made, they are not going to fall into that same trap. Because if they keep repeating the same mistakes, that means there is no better us, there is no better them, and as a matter of fact, there is no better generation. So basically, making the teens realize common mistakes that could destroy them, and if at all they've made such mistakes, how to rise and not dwell in it.
Our generations, this new generation, you are very lucky to have. Before I tell you, I not even tell you that she's a couple. Yes, she's a core member. She's a core member. Yes. So you are very lucky to have her here on stage. Thank you so much for that. You are very lucky to have someone who doesn't want you to fall in the trap she or others from others' experience which they fall into. Okay, Miss Temidayo. Now, today we're talking about failure. Almost everyone fails at a point in time.
Yes.
And this day, in our world today, we see failure as a big thing. We see failure as, I think I read through a news last year when someone failed from what's it called? From online. I saw it online rather. Let me put it that way. So when I saw it online, the person failed and she went ahead to commit suicide.
Ooh.
Yes, I think 100 or 200 level students. So just imagine that. And even our teenagers here too, when they fail, they're like, my daddy will kill me. He's very bad. He's very good. He's not good. He's this, he's that. And that fear makes them to think that failure is the end of life. And when you fail, you cannot achieve anything again. So today we'll be talking about failure, a setback, or a blessing. So Miss Temi, what do you see about the word failure? What can you say about the word failure?
Okay, failure, just like the prefix failure, that means fail. So for somebody to say he or she is a failure, that means the person has failed. And okay, basically most people see failure as lack of success.
Lack of success.
So that means for me to say I am a failure, that means I am not successful. And in another way, we could see failure as not meeting a particular target.
Okay.
So for instance now, I want to be here by 6 o'clock and then I came in here say 6:30. I have failed in meeting that target of being here by 6 o'clock. So it's not just a matter of failing in academics. The way it is now in this present generation, we fail in all ramifications, in all spheres. We can fail spiritually, we can fail maritally, in relationship, financially, academically, morally. So it is very possible for us to fail in all spheres of our lives. But I think for our generation, most times people count failure as just academic failure. And that's the type of failure most people take to heart. And that's why you see when someone fails, the next thing is depression setting. After depression, suicide is the next option. Which is really bad.
Failure is I think she said that failure is not only for academics.
Yes, ma'am.
It is all rounder. It is not just when you fail academically. It is not, we always fail in like, okay, yes. So when let's say I and my husband, we sign in the court that we are not interested in the marriage again, that shows our faith.
Not necessarily that you have failed, but when we say failure in marriage now, okay, some people will say I missed it in marriage, in the sense that, okay, you know, everybody says bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, my soulmate, somebody that was moved from my rib cage, everything like that. So imagine I did not choose right. I have failed maritally. And in another sense, okay, being a Christian now, I go to church for my marriage, I read my vows, I will not see another man, it's just going to be you and you alone till death do us part. Then the next day, I'm seeing another man. Not just another man, we're having sex. I have failed maritally. I have failed in keeping my vows to my husband. So I have failed.
Wow. Okay, ma'am. I have another question here. You've talked about failure in marital, failures in like financially and all of the aspects. So my question now is that have you ever failed for once?
I don't think there's anybody that's not failed though.
I even have my own story.
Like, if there is someone that has not failed, I personally would like to meet the person.
Wow.
Because I would not want to say everybody has failed, because I've not actually carried out that research. But from what I know, we all have failed, man. Because, number one, nobody's perfect.
Sure.
Only a perfect human being will say he or she has not failed. And I think so far, to the best of my knowledge, and I stand not to be corrected, the only perfect being is the supreme being, and that is God. So we have failed. And have I failed? Yes. Countless times. You know, growing up. My failure story is funny. But then I think I would like to stick with this one.
Just share some so that we help us.
So growing up, my parents took me to one of the best schools. Yeah, I schooled in Ibadan. So they took me one of the best schools, and then I'm this girl that I find it difficult to read, but I like to write. If my teacher writes on the board, I would write it. But let me read what I've written. On a long term, it's really difficult. Like, it was really difficult. So my mates my mates then back then in primary school, they would read fluently, and here I am. I'll write, but then I'll not be able to read what I've written. Like, my own handwriting, it was really difficult. So my mates will have first position, second position, third position, and there is this girl. My school then, I don't want to review name, we're like 50 in a class, but it's a private school. So I'm not always 50 position, no. But then if I'm not like 20 something, and I don't know how it used to happen. And amazingly, if they ask questions in class, I will answer.
But
to read it is my problem.
Okay.
And you know, if you cannot read a question very well, you'll never be able to put down the answers very well.
Sure.
So I just use the idea like, okay, maybe this is what the teacher is saying, and I give them the idea by the answer. So my parents had discovered that Temidayo, your problem is that you could not read it. But then they tried pushing me. So when I get back home, no TVs, I will read what I've written in school. Then you'll not see me stammering, like it's not my handwriting. Then it kept going on and on. But later, it went on for like 2 times. So later, God intervened.
Wow, hallelujah.
And then I was able to read. Then I was stopping my class. And it got to the point my classmates were like, no, Awowoyin, because we call ourselves surname back then in school.
Sure.
Awowoyin, how did you do it? Awowoyin, how did you do this? Awowoyin, how did you do? I'm like, I don't know. All I know is when I get back home, I read. My parents will force me to read it. You read it, you're able to read it. So if you cannot read it, just stay down. Like, don't even stand up from that book. Sit down there till you're able to read it. So I was grounded. And then I've come to realize the importance or value or the place of parents in a child's life. Because in most cases, when a child fails, even parents add salt to that salt. Like, fail. When I was in university, can you come? I did not used to fail. I'm a very good kid. I'm brilliant. It means I used to top the class. Even your father, he did not used to fail. And I'm like I've seen a case of whereby the mother spoke badly to the child. That wasn't even the failure part that made the child depressed, but the fact that is it my mom that actually said all this to me. Like, this woman actually gave birth to me. Like, it was really bad. And then failure, it used to happen. And okay, that was like an academic part.
Okay. I'm enjoying it.
So I entered school, university. Nigeria,
wow.
attended the best university in Nigeria.
Okay.
Argue with yourself.
Let us know.
I attended the best university in Nigeria.
What's the name of the university? Let's hear.
Okay, I graduated from Bowen University, Osun State. If you are listening, you're about okay, this is paid advertisement. But then, if you want to change your institution, just go to Bowen. Bowen has all the course you are looking for.
It's okay. It's okay.
So when I got to school, university, there was this particular course, was my best course. That was in 300 level.
Alright.
Like I was so sure I was going to get an A in that course. Then I saw my results. I saw B. Note, B is not a failure. B is a good grade. But the fact that it wasn't what I was expecting, when I explained failure, I said failure could be you not meeting a target.
Yeah.
The fact that I was expecting an A and I got a B, I was really sad and I was really depressed. Like, no. Like, Temidayo, if we're going to get B in any course, it shouldn't be this course. This is my favorite course. This is one course I read like I was going to not write any exam after that course. But alas, I had B. So I was really disappointed in myself. I lashed myself with words like, I could have done better, you could have done this, you could have done that. But then I realized that failure is not the end of life. Failing isn't you putting a stop to your life. As a matter of fact, failing isn't you pausing your life. But once you fail, you stand up. It's just like during wrestling or boxing. When the opponent falls, it doesn't say because I have fallen, I'll just keep to the ground. They stand up back. They might not be the winner of that particular competition, but they might end up winning the next opponent. So those are one of my failure stories.
Wow. Failure isn't the end of the road. Failure isn't the end of life. When you fail, get up. When you fail, arise. I remember one time I did YGC, I think around when I was in SS2. When I was in SS2, I sat down for YGC. That result. Oh my god. Till date.
This why you're laughing.
Till date. I was the only one that saw the results. My teachers, my parents. I said I did not remember the first one again.
But you saw it.
So I thought I saw D7, F9, B, D7.
No, it was SS2 now.
Like
You will write in SS3 and you do better.
Thank God I have that let me say I have that opportunity. If I was in SS3 that time and I had that kind of result, probably I would have been depressed. So I have to just choose that result. When everybody asks, "Oh, the result," it was fine, it was great. But guess what? It was God that helped me. Like, okay. But what happened to me that time was that after I saw the result, I did not share it with anyone. That's just the truth. But I now sat down. That's okay. Come what may, I must pass my own main examination.
Mindset.
I must pass. That was what I gave myself. Not that probably because I still have another chance. Let me put it that way. Because I not show my parents that result though. Daddy asked. Even if he's seeing this video today, you'll be like, well done. Because he asked me severally. Failure isn't the end of the road. When you fail, pick up yourself again. So, Miss Temidayo, I want to ask another question. And the question is, why do you think teenagers fail? Because our audience are teenagers. So, I know there's some people that want to ask this question again. Why do you think teenagers fail? Is it, academically?
Okay. First thing first, I think that would be your mindset.
Mindset.
Some people's mindset is already made up that I'm going to fail. It's just like saying, for instance, okay, using myself as an example, I was a science student. I liked physics, but I did not like maths. And people find it difficult to believe that. Why would you like physics and not maths? But then I don't know. So, knowing I don't like maths, whenever I'm like reading, I put extra effort into maths. And I decree into maths that I'm going to have an A. And at the same time, I had a classmate back then in secondary school. We both don't like maths, but we're in science class. She will always say, if I pass, I will have D. Meaning, she's not even aiming for C.
For
she's
B.
not aiming for B. She's not aiming for A. The highest she wants is D.
Just give me D. Let me
so, you know, for somebody like that, if she sees F, she will not be shocked.
Yeah.
Because she's already waiting for it. So the first thing that actually makes teenager face our mindset, the teacher is teaching you in class and you're already like, I can't know it. If you do not know something, that means you cannot even answer the questions in exams. The teacher is already explaining everything. And you're like, can this man just leave the class? This topic is difficult. This topic is hard. So the first thing that makes teenagers face our mindset. Whatever you put your heart to is what will come to reality. It's not every time it actually comes to reality, but there is a 70% assurance that if you put your heart to it and you work towards it, it will come to reality. So that's the first point. And the second point is going to be the lackadaisical attitude. That means being nonchalant about the whole thing. Like, you're not just worried about it. They teach you, you're just like, exam come and go. After the teacher has taught you in class, you are expected as a good student to put in your extra effort. Even if it's to read the book for 20 minutes, it goes a long way. And then another thing is, some people do not discover who they are personally. When I say discover who they are now, it's not a matter of discovering your purpose. It's a matter of discovering what works for you individually. Some will say, because my friend, okay, now you're my friend, because she reads in the afternoon, I want to read in the afternoon. Not knowing that for me, I have to listen in class well. You don't listen in class, but once you read what you've written in your notes, you understand. Then I want to be like you. I start playing in class too, and I read my notes, and I'm like, but it's not the Bola is reading that she's passing now. Why am I reading my notes and I'm not passing? I have not discovered what works for me. What works for me personally, I'm not a night reader. Back then in school, I have friends that are night reader. I was even the alarm clock. I really want to wake them up to read at night. But you never see me reading because it doesn't work for me. If I read anything in the night, trust me, I cannot wake up to remember. But I'm always active at night, but not to read. So as teenagers, we should discover what works for us. If you are a night reader, if you are the type that listen in class, if you are the type that when you read, you have to read like for 2 hours. Don't say because your friend is reading a particular topic for 20 minutes and you want to join your friend to do it. You are not your friend. You are who you are. And there is only one you. And that one you cannot be compared with any other you. So read like it is you. Do your things in your own way. You can try, okay, and the thing is, some people say, how do I discover who I am? Try every method. Then check the one that works for you. If you know, if you read at night, the next day they wake you up, you will not remember. Leave the night reading. It's not for you. If you know it is when you listen in class that you remember, focus, pay attention in class. If your friend is doing, let's talk, do not answer. If you are the type that you know it is when you write things down, that means you have to read, you have to make jottings. So basically, discover what works for you. Put your heart to it and it will help you. So that's just it. And above all, put God first. Put God first in all that you do. There's a saying I do say, and I think it's common, it's general. Read like you have no God, and pray to God like you will not read. So
read like you have no God,
and pray to God like you will not read.
Can you please explain that?
Okay, I'm reading my book like God will never do anything. It is me and my book now.
Okay, not even help those who help themselves.
No, I will read like there's no God. Then when I'm about to write the exam, I pray to God like I've not actually read. So the book I have read and the God I have prayed to, the two of them will combine and work together. When everyone help those who help themselves, that's the point. Have you helped yourself at all? I will not say because I've not read anything and I'm like, Jesus, I'm about to enter the exam hall. Just show me
it. Like
God is not a magician, no. He does wonders, but then he's not a magician.
One can pray.
Work, exactly, that's the point. Work and pray.
Work and pray. Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, you've gotten that. You have to change your mindset. You have to know who you are. You have to understand the fact that you are you and there is no second you. You are yourself. You're made to be yourself. You're made to be you. So, check what fits you. Check what. If you've tried the first method and it doesn't work, try the second method. If you try the second method and it doesn't work, try the third method. If you are a good listener, it's okay for you. If you are good in reading in the midnight, fine. If you are good in reading in the afternoon, fine. So know who you are, know what works for you. Okay, Miss Temi, thank you very much for that. The next question is, why is failure, like we've been saying, is failure the end of the road? Like, failure is not the end of the road.
It's not.
Can you please expatiate? Like, can you tell us more?
Okay, so failure is not the end of the road. Failure is not a stop. Failure is not a pause. Failure to me is actually a blessing. So when you fail, do not give up on yourself. You pick up yourself and you brace up and move on. I would say failure makes us to appreciate life better. And it makes us to have more success stories. Because if you've not actually failed, that means you might not really have a success story. And like I said earlier on, at every point in life, everybody has failed. It's just a difference of what type of failure. So academically, I would still like to say, but on this, I stand to be corrected. Somehow, everybody has failed. You know, I said earlier on that it is basically you not meeting your targets. And like I use myself an example. I wanted an A, but I got a B. I have failed because I didn't meet my target of that A. So because of that, I shouldn't say I'll stop reading. It's actually not the end of the road. So when you fail, pick up yourself. See that failure as a blessing. Because in everything that happens, there is always a success story to it. And for you to have a success story, you must have an history. So
for
if
you to have a success story, you must have an history.
And I feel, okay, I've been reading a lot of biographies of people, both Nigerian and the whites, everybody in general, there's nobody that said everything worked out perfectly. So what will actually make your success story more interesting, more beautiful, more sweet for people to hear is one point that I have failed. But now note, I am not saying it's compulsory you fail. Don't say that because you want to have a success story you are failing. But the point is, if failure happens, how we handle it shouldn't be we giving up on ourselves. How we handle it shouldn't be we going into depression, we falling back, and then we're like, hey, I want to kill myself, this is the end of the road, this is it, this is that. No, we shouldn't say because we have failed, we are pausing our life forever. So when you fail, stand up, dust your shoulder pads, stand like the king and queen that you are, place your crown properly, and move on with life. Because you have failed, it will help you to understand life in a better perspective, and it will help you to understand the reason why you have actually failed. It's just like saying a student that failed, say GSS2 class, and then they ask the student to repeat that class. Trust me, if the student is serious, if the student is serious, the students will be the ones to lead that class.
Sure.
Because you know why you failed. And it's like you're taking a class repeatedly. So there's no reason why you should still fail again. And that is why I said it is a matter of mindset. For some people, if they fail 1,001 times, it doesn't help anything. They will still keep failing. Because their mindset has not been changed. So to everything out there, see failure as a blessing. Do not say, my mates are moving and there I am. My mates are promoting to GSS3 and there I am in GSS2. You are not your mates. You are who you are. And like I said, there is no other you. So do not compare yourself with your mates. And that is why I think our parents gave us different names. Even if your surnames are similar or you have the same surnames and your first name is the same, you cannot have the same you cannot have the same middle name. If I thought you don't have the same middle name, you are not looking like the same person. That means you are not the same. And that is why even twins have different purposes in life. That's why you see one twin in GSS 2, another one in GSS 3. You are not competing with anybody. In this race of academics, you are your own competitor. You are your own competitor. Fine, is good to aim for first position. It's good to aim to top the class. But do not say because you have not topped the class, you are giving up on yourself. If you do not top the class in GSS 1 or SS 1, work harder, work towards it. You will top it in SS 2 or in GSS 2. So compete with yourself. Set your goals for yourself. Okay, Temidayo, I want to meet up with this goal, and it will work once you work towards it.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
If you change your mindset, if you actually know what you are doing, you will succeed in life. If you concentrate on your studies, you will succeed academically. You will never born a failure. But at a point in time, you can fail. And if you fail, doesn't mean you should just sit down, feel depressed. Though you can actually feel somehow sad because you didn't meet the target. Like your parents actually wish you should succeed. And you yourself have the goal that I want to succeed in life. So you can actually feel sad. But after you felt that way, what should you do? Wipe away your tears. Wipe away your tears. Then take your pen and a book and write down, this is my next target. And don't just set that goal. What do? Work towards it. Thank you so much, Miss Amy. I really appreciate you for sharing your story and for adding more from your cup of knowledge, from your cup of wisdom, for giving us an opportunity to learn about what failure is. Okay, ma'am. At every point in time, we used to meet a teenager doing what they want, doing what it is not compulsory, what it is not right for them to do. Especially during our age now, when everyone is following G-guys, when everyone is thinking that they cannot make it alone, when they think they can just do their life, especially when you see them with boxers and all these things on streets, you think that I don't know why, and using organic cream, teen girls.
It's for beauty.
For beauty. Teen girls as that. So I'm not actually saying you shouldn't look good, but like those that I'm talking about themselves. Sure, you understand? So when you come across this kind of people, what is your advice to them? To teenagers in general. Please tell us. Yes, our teen coach. Please let us know.
It is a deep question. Okay. My advice to teenagers out there. I don't know. But then the first thing out there is be yourself. So if you know yourself that you want to be, is to do what you are doing. Keep doing it. But the sad part is you always regret in life. And then the difference between regret and failure is very huge. You when you fail and you refuse to make amends, that's when you end up regretting. So the point is, they doing it is a mistake. So everything that we see teenagers are doing, and then we're like, hey, this one, you are doing wrong, it is a mistake. And it's because in most cases, they've not seen someone to correct them. Or maybe the person correcting them is doing it wrongly. And that's where most of our parents or the elders come in. Just side talk to the parents and elders are likely to be seeing this. Please, whenever you are correcting somebody that is 18 already, like being a teenager, they're already in their feelings like, oh, I'm an adult now, I'm grown, I'm this. There are some way you correct people, like there are some ways you correct them that will actually make them listen. That's not the point where you start beating them morning, afternoon and night. That's just it. Talk to them in a normal way, and with God through you, they will listen. So my advice to teenagers: be yourself. Do not make mistakes that you will end up regretting in the future. And okay, this is something I used to tell most teenagers when I have the opportunity of talking to them. Basically, it is an analogy, and that's what I use most times. You know, it's nice for everybody to be successful, but at the same time, it will not be too nice if everybody is successful, because a rich man would not want to work under a rich man. So that is why we will need gardeners. We will need people that wash our clothes. We will need drivers. Do you understand? So it is your own decision to say, I want to serve my mates. It is your own decision to say, I want to work under my mates. It is your own decision to say, I want to clean my mate's shoe. I am not saying everybody is going to be a leader, but you do not have to be a leader to make a difference.
You do not have to be a leader to make a difference.
So it is your decision. And the good news, like I said earlier on, we all have different surname. So if your surname is being dragged in the mud, I am not affected. And if my surname is being dragged in the mud, you are not affected. So choose wisely. And that is why I will always tell teenagers, do not make mistakes you will end up regretting in the future. So the ball is in your court. It has always been. Wow. You can decide to shoot it or to keep it.
Wow, thank you very much, Compa Temidayo. I really appreciate you. Thanks for coming. Also, if you have, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any question, kindly drop it for us. We will take time to answer them. We'll take time to discuss on them in our next show. Miss Temi, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate. And also, don't forget to subscribe to channel MET Online TV. Thank you so much. See you next week on Teenagers Talk with Princess Adebola Paulina. Remember, failure sometimes is a blessing. Failure is never a setback. Pick yourself up. Don't ever regret. Don't ever win. Now, feel the pressure. You can try again. You can do more again. I love you.
Wanna make love on the moon, dancing to my tune. Easy.
Baba Omi, Ogo Pọja Baba Omi, Agbaja, Pọja Baba Omi, MET Online TV, MET Online TV, MET Online TV.
Are you finding it difficult to train to acquire knowledge on information